up? It's Jessie. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all the places where I get my books. I'm sure a lot of people often wonder how much I spend on my books because I have so many, but I don't think it's as much as you think because I like a good book bargain. So very rarely do I often spend full price on the books. Typically, the only time I go to Barnes & Noble is when I get a coupon. So I definitely recommend if you're an avid book shopper to sign up for the membership at Barnes & Noble because you always get 10% off with your membership, and they often send you coupons in the mail or in your email, stuff like that. First round of book buying that I want to cover is online book shopping, where I get my books for cheaper online. So if there is a new release that I really want but don't want to spend full price in an actual store, I would probably go online to either Amazon or Barnes & Noble online, because buying a book online, you can often get them for a couple dollars cheaper than they would be if you actually went into the Barnes & Noble store. And the shipping tends to be pretty quick at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Some other websites where you can get books super cheap are websites like Thrift Books and Book Outlet. I think those are pretty much the only two that I've ordered from, and I've been really happy with my orders. Every time that I've ordered from them, I've ordered like 6 or something books from Thrift Books for only like $1 or $2 each, something crazy low like that. And often I check Book Outlet, even though there's not maybe going to be extreme new releases on these websites, there are going to be possibly books that you may want or have seen or may be interested in. So you just have to check back often and see the stock, because the stock is going to be kind of random, because basically it's kind of like a library or used bookstore online. So books are going to be cheaper. Just a warning, they may not always be in the newest condition. I have been pretty lucky with all of my Book Outlet orders so far. I've gotten like pristine condition books. Thank goodness for that. I'm pretty happy with all my orders. So that is what I would recommend for online book shopping. If you know of any more online bookstores that have cheaper books, just let me know in the comments below, because I don't often order books online, but if there are good deals, I might possibly splurge, even though I don't really need to. The next place I often get books at are actual used bookstores. The used bookstores I visit most is one called Book Off and the Goodwill bookstore and my library. First off, if you go to your local library or any library around, most of them, not all, but most, have things called book nooks or used bookstores where you can get books for like 10, 25 cents or $1, $2 like that at most, usually. So I often, just once in a while, if I'm in the area or close to the library, I like to stop in and check what they have. You're not always going to find new books, but I find interesting books sometimes, and I pick up a few. I mean, because they're really cheap, like 25 cents each, so it's a really good deal. I don't often go to thrift stores or antique stores. I only go if I'm in the area. If you go to a thrift store, you are going to find really cheap books most of the time, but it's not like you're going to find new releases or anything like straight off the shelf new releases like from the day before. It's kind of like luck of the draw. You just have to go in and often check and see their supply. You might find a hidden treasure like I do occasionally for like $1 or something like that, super cheap. I often like to look for old books at antique stores because I'm also a vintage book collector. I have a whole shelf dedicated to all my vintage books, which I love a lot. So I definitely recommend thrift stores and antique stores for cheaper older books or antique books, anything like that. The next used bookstore is one I go to called Book Off. I think their most expensive price that they charge for a book is $7. Typically the books that I get are like $3.50 to $5, something like that. So I would say almost 60% of the books on my shelf probably have come from Book Off or the Goodwill bookstore. I often go to the Goodwill bookstore to get some great deals on books as well. I'm not sure about other countries, but here in the US we have a wholesale giant warehouse store called Costco. You can often get books there for like 30-40% off, which is pretty cool. Occasionally, if we make a big trip to Costco, which we typically do like once a month, I will check their book selection, and sometimes they have awesome new releases. Lastly, bookstores that I want to talk about is obviously independent bookstores. I am a super big fan of my independent bookstore that I go to typically a lot. Independent bookstores are sort of a dying breed, so just go out and support them occasionally. I often go to book signings at my independent bookstore because I love to support and I love to buy books from them. And buying books from an independent bookstore does help out your community and economy. I know my independent bookstore does something really cool. If you buy a lot of books, you get something called loyalty loot, and every year around Christmas they give you back like a certificate with money that you get to spend. So like one year I got $50 back because I bought so many books. That was really cool. So just ask about things like that, because occasionally bookstores do that. And I do go to Barnes & Noble, like I said, once in a while if I have a good coupon or anything like that. Or if there's a new release that I like must have now. Also, Target has some pretty good book deals. I think their books are like 15-20% off sometimes, so do check Target too, if you have them where you live. And last but not least, I think I kind of want to talk about ARCs, because I often get asked how I get ARCs. If you don't know what ARCs are, ARC stands for Advanced Readers Copies, and publishing companies send them out to book bloggers and reviewers and YouTubers in order to spread hype about the book and read and review it and give your opinion. Since I often get asked, I'm kind of going to explain it. If you want ARCs, you have to have some sort of website, blog, Tumblr, YouTube channel where you can be able to read and review and promote that book. Once you start up a little platform like that, like a Bookstagram or anything, and you start gathering a following, that is when you can start doing research and emailing publishing companies. Say if there is a book that isn't out yet that you really want, you can email them and ask kindly if you can be sent a copy for an honest review. And all you have to do is just send them a nice email, and be sure to link all of your website info and everything like that so they can check you out before they send you the book. The worst thing that could happen is they don't reply or they say no. They do often get a lot of emails, so you may have to try another time. The emails aren't like right away responses, so you may have to wait a few days, as I often have to do. Another way you can get ARCs is by going to book conventions like Y'allwist, RT Book Lovers Convention, Comic-Con, anything in your area where publishing companies or authors or books, it's about books, there's books there. I often get a lot of my ARCs for free every year when I go to Comic-Con. If I go to Y'allwist, I got a few ARCs there. So there's just fun places where you can get ARCs, and you just really have to have a platform to advertise them. So it's about getting connections and going for it. The worst thing that could happen is you get turned down. Just no matter what, it's just don't get down and just keep going for what you want, and it will happen eventually, hopefully. That is all of the ways I purchase and get sent my books. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it a little bit informational. I do apologize that since I live in the US, I'm not sure about ways to get books cheaper out of the US. Despite that, I hope that you guys enjoyed a little background of how and where I buy my books. Like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions or bookstore recommendations below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jessie, and I'll see you next time. Bye!